Welcome back to the Daily Crypto Market Update. BTC closed up green yesterday, which is a nice feeling, 1.69%, which is a nice way to start off the week. Sunday green, yesterday green. This is actually a pretty nice setup, kind of similar to what we saw Sunday and Monday on the 9th and the 10th before it rolled over again. I'm saying this not to be a stick in the mud, not to be really depressing about it, but just keep your expectations in check. Again, the reason why I'm leaning more bearish on BTC is for several reasons, because we're seeing macro bearish vibes here from the slow line, which is the slowest moving average, which is actually curling downward. You can see that. That's letting us know that the macro trend is bearish. On the weekly time frame, we might get an RSI reset on the weekly, but it's still way too early to tell. We still have like 6 days left in this week, so anything can happen. But we did close strong bearish, as in below 25 on weekly RSI, which is not good. On the 4-hour time frame, we are seeing some bullish reversal signs, but again, just like what we saw back over here on the 9th and then the 10th, it moved up about 4% before rolling over. Maybe 80K is the bottom, and maybe we're going to see a bounce from here. Another thing to consider as well is that daily RSI shot up yesterday to 35.24. It's established here. This is a resistance fan. So basically, we're taking the sequential lower highs and drawing out resistance levels from those. So we have a respected move here, gasp on the 10th. So we're looking at almost an identical setup. If RSI closes above this level, that's amazing. But really, it needs to close above this to change the bearish narrative, okay? Which isn't impossible, but it will require more green candles, more bullish buying for BTC, for RSI to move up above 50.51. Not impossible, but just saying. Now, Ethereum here, this one actually is really interesting. Yesterday, it moved up 5.4%, which is pretty wild, given the fact that this has been so oversold for such a long time. Now, one thing to be aware of with a 5% move, which coin is leading the market right now in terms of recovery? You notice that lots of alts went absolutely crazy on yesterday's candles. That is just closed about, an hour ago. So Ethereum closing up 5% meant a lot of coins were pumping yesterday, which we're going to look at in a second. The main thing, though, to focus on is, again, similar setup. TBT bullish divergences, closed short on a big pumped candle. Last time this happened was on the 10th. It moved up about 4%, and then it rolled over. Now, the 4 hour is bearish. The daily is not yet bearish. In terms of the TBO slow line, it's actually moving up. But the good sign here, compared to BTC, is that we actually saw RSI shoot up yesterday to 43.16, which is awesome. So this is actually a very positive sign. It's positive because, let me see if I can get it closer. There we go. Because we've taken out this high here. Now we're starting a new uptrend. So Ethereum is actually looking stronger than BTC. So this has been a very strong downtrend that's been in place for a long time. Ethereum breaking above this noodly overhead trend line is a good sign. Plus, if you look at the lows here for daily RSI, you can see that, there's a very crude drawing here, but it did respect support back over here on the pullback on Friday, the 21st. So putting in higher lows is a great sign of bullish strength building. The only problem I have is that it's 5% up in one day and things are pretty bearish. On the weekly, things are still very bearish as well. Not saying that we can't bounce from here. I do expect a market-wide bounce, so we're seeing that. It's just, I don't know how much strength there is in this one-day move for more bullish continuation. Now, ETH BTC, because Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin in terms of price action, let me delete that guy. We got another TBT bullish divergence here on the daily time frame. So this is the second one. It's actually a cluster, which is telling us that we should continue to see Ethereum outperform Bitcoin. Now, what's really interesting about this, let me hide the brush, the trend line, and the fibs, is that this is the first time Ethereum or ETH BTC has closed inside of the daily TBO Cloud since back over here on the 12th of November. Okay, so this is a positive sign. It's a good thing. again, it's just, yeah, it feels good, but there's been a lot of this happening for a long time. My stance on ETH BTC remains the same. If I'm actually going to get bullish on this chart, it needs to break above overhead resistance, which has been a challenge to say the least, but it's a good sign. Stablecoin dominance fell more yesterday, which is a great sign. It made a low of 8.549, but it's still in the bear market zone. Again, the slow line continues to curl upward, which means that the trend is macro bearish. For alts, it's bullish for this, but it's bearish. On the daily time frame, RSI fell back, almost hitting support, but not quite. But it did get massively overbought to 84.52, which means that it's most likely going to head higher. Weekly RSI is still overbought at 77. All of these things are telling me we should expect more bullish continuation to the upside. However, there is a TBO close long on the 4-hour, which is a very fast time frame, just like back over here, GASP on the 9th. And we saw it drop a little bit before it raged up higher. The important thing is to pay attention to the macro trend, which is up. So yes, we're having a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a bounce, which is good. I want to see it continue to bounce. But trust me, I will only be screaming from the rooftops, getting super excited once this chart falls inside of this mass, which is the TBO Cloud. Because once that happened back over here, that gave me a lot of confidence right over here. Falling inside of the cloud is exactly what we want to see, because this is a sign of bearish consolidation, which means consolidating, going sideways, but going down to the bottom of the cloud. This is what we want to see. And then, of course, a TBO close long. But it's going to take way more selling, which means a reduction in, or rather a reduced amount of the dominance going into stablecoins, which means using stables to buy crypto. Bitcoin dominance fell 0.83% yesterday. As I said in yesterday's video and also last week's video, this is why the slow line is so important. When we get these big pushes against a bearish slow line, these moments right here are the moments where we're feeling like, okay, wait, something's off. This isn't right, because the macro trend is bearish. So even if we get a little bit of green, the macro trend is telling us, nope, the trend is down. So the plan remains the same. Bitcoin dominance should be going down here to 57.37, which is support. On the 4-hour time frame, there was a TBO close short. It got quickly closed and it's going lower. So that's why that's orange. This is orange as well because it has a TBO close short for total ES.D. Again, it feels really nice to have this bounce. It's good. I'm just not seeing this as the bounce and everything's going to bounce from here, right? Looking at our overhead resistance trend, I guess, the spaghetti noodle. So it's doing the right thing. Like, right, we're putting in a high here, which is great. But unfortunately, it needs to exceed 51.55, similar to like Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? It needs to exceed these other highs in order for it to be really bullish. And it's a good move. It really is, but it's not enough yet. Total ES, this one we know had a low on Saturday at 16.97. But again, same story applies. We get these consecutively lower highs. And again, making a high over here on daily RSI is great. But until we push above the previous one, we don't have a confirmed uptrend. One thing to consider as well is that we've been massively oversold. These TBO breakdowns, which warn us of bearish, explosive price action to come, were 100% spot on. And now we have previous or historical TBO support, which is the green dotted line, plotting out resistance at about 2.77 trillion, just about where the price pumped yesterday, which is pretty wild. It didn't get quite there, but it's almost there. So again, it feels good, but be careful, be on the lookout, because there's no guarantees of this just rushing up higher. Now, this is the week. This is the last week to save 50% on all of our courses at the Better Traders, whether it's 15 Minutes to Financial Freedom, Mastering Passive Income, The Smarter Trader. All of these courses from the Better Traders include a 1-month trial of the Better Traders Club. It includes trial access to the TBO and the TBO Pro indicator for the 2 advanced courses, MPI and TST. Plus, if you're more of like a traditional investor, our courses of Mastering Assets, which we've done in partnership with Kitco Media, these are also 50% off for a Black Friday sale. So check those out now. Plus, there are links down below to sign up for Femex and also for BYD-Fi. If you trade on these exchanges, you can earn rewards up to 30,000 USDT, which is crazy. All right, I have some picks. You have some picks. So if you have coins that you want me to check out, leave a comment down below. I do read all the comments for better or for worse. So let me know what you're interested in. But I'm going to get into my picks. And if you haven't liked the video yet, like it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you've done those things and you like what I do and you want to share it with people, then share. Share it online, repost, do all that fun stuff. All right, let's go. All right, Solana. This one had this long historical level of support. Now we know that the price fell below it by about 7% over here to 122 back on Friday, last Friday, actually, the 21st. 6% on Solana is a really nice move. On the 4-hour time frame, another TBO close short. We've seen lots of these. The only problem is that one of these is not enough. It's a good feeling. It's a good vibe. What I want to see are a lot of these and ideally really close to support. And what would be even better is one of those here on the daily time frame, which is going to admittedly take some time to see. Ethereum Classic also has one of these, but the difference between Solana and Ethereum Classic is that it has this TBT bullish divergence cluster. This is not part of the TBO or the trending breakout indicator. TBT divergence, or the Better Traders divergence, is a pro tier indicator available in the Better Traders Club. But this cluster, this yellow tab right here, is a very strong bullish reversal signal. And we're looking at Ethereum Classic with another TBO close short. It should make a nice little bounce. Again, if Ethereum does well, usually Ethereum Classic does well too. Zebek network. So this is what we want to see on Solana and Ethereum Classic on the daily time frame is a TBO close short here. This is actually a great sign of strength and bullish recovery, bullish momentum. This is the first close short we've seen on this chart since way back over here, April 2025, April 26th to be specific. The ideal entry strategy for this is we want to wait for a pullback to this thick pink line, which is the TBO fast line. That would be our entry opportunity if we're going to take it as an entry. ENA is a chart that I've been telling you guys, watch this one because it's at weekly TBO support, daily historical TBO support as well. And then yesterday's move on Monday is up 11%. Now, it's not out of the woods yet. I wouldn't ape into anything, but just understand that things could get crazy. But we also know we've seen this same setup from Bitcoin before, right? H, which is crazy. This is the one that pumped massively in one day. I have to measure this out too. This is insane. 151%. And from the top at 40 cents, it's now fallen 69%. What's crazy though is that on the 4-hour time frame, this is the first TBO close short that is printed on this chart since, I have to go way back over here. So this is the kind of setup I love to see with the TBO close shorts, the orange diamond. See how there's a lot of them right near this green and red dotted line of support? This is the kind of setup I love to see. This one is good, but it's just one. And the price is actually going back to the fast line, but it's a good start for sure. Now, these ones are green because of bullish things that are happening with the TBO or TBT bullish divergence. So XRP printed a TBT bullish divergence yesterday on an 8% pump. This chart is also repeating a very similar pattern right now. Back over here on the 24th of August, we got a TBT bullish divergence. The price moved up an additional, 7% or so, and then it rolled over. We saw another similar thing happen over here on the 10th of November, push up about 9%, and then it rolled over. So if you're someone that's looking to short XRP because you believe that this is just another fake out, another bull trap, look at what's happened before. It's moved up about 7%. Over here, about 6% from the TBO fast line. So the TBO fast line's here. So 7%, 6% could be around 234 or about 238 if you're looking to short. If not, then you just kind of chill out. But it's, again, still bearish on the weekly. It's in bullish consolidation on the daily, but we've seen this happen many times before. Litecoin is slowly starting to revert back up. There's overhead resistance here at about, I'll say like $108 or so. It's still strong bearish, but it is starting to pick up and it's starting to change. Morpho is one I'm still waiting on, happily waiting on this guy, even though it broke below my support level here on the 4-hour. Don't really care. I've seen this happen too many times. And my target is back up here at about $2 plus. Tezos, which is a crazy chart because no one really talks about Tezos anymore. It's fallen down all the way here to this historical TBO support line. I keep saying historical because it's no longer current. These green dotted lines that are automatically plotted by the trending breakout indicator, they stop and they get moved up and they get moved up and they moved up, or sorry, move down, move down, move down. So the price has fallen back to these historical lows, which is actually an optimal place that you might want to build a position, considering the last time it was down here, it shot up 150%. And there's TBO resistance at 92 cents, which is 90% above the current price. I never thought I'd be talking about this coin again, but here I am. Fartcoin had a weird pump yesterday, up 26% with the TBT bullish divergence. More importantly, though, we're actually going to look at fibs because the price actually wicked down here, putting in a slightly higher low than what it did on the 10th of October. This is a chart that's coiled up. I'm not necessarily super bullish on this chart at all, but we should recognize a couple of signs. For starters, volume starting to come in a lot, which is good, just like it did back over here until it fell. On balance volume is starting a new uptrend, which we haven't seen in a while. And it's been a lot of violent ups and downs, but the moving average is curling up, which is a good sign. We're getting TBT bullish divergence. The price is inside of the daily TBO Cloud, which is good. I wouldn't want to chase it here, but seeing volume increase, seeing on balance volume increase, seeing that it's fallen down here to this historical low from back in March, it's actually a good sign that it could bounce from here. It'd be crazy. Allo on Binance, this one is having another bounce. This one pumped back over here on Friday, up 82%, and it fell all the way down here to support, only to bounce halfway up again. This is what I teach, by the way, in this course from the Better Traders in 15 Minutes to Financial Freedom, how to find charts like this and how to trade them. So this is like a textbook A/B trading chart. Crazy. Honey on, this is High Mapper on Coinbase. Just really good price action. Actually, it's, even though it's on a downtrend, charts like these are really frustrating to trade on a downtrend, but you can. You have to use DCA. You have to know how to trade them. This one is still strong bearish, even though it's having an RSI reset on the weekly. But trust me, it's very bearish. Just watch out. But charts like these, for those that know how to trade them, really, really profitable, really fun to trade. Helium, remember this one from last week? So it fell down on Friday to TBO support on the daily time frame, stayed here Saturday, Sunday, a little bit of motion, and then yesterday shot up 34%, and it's back inside the cloud. The target remains just below the 236. That might take some time. It might not get hit because we see these lower highs happening over and over and over, but still a good response. Camino, which has been a request in the past, really interesting price action. It's fallen down here. It made a slightly lower low on Friday, based off of the low spec over here on the 2nd of August, but it bounced from here back into the cloud. And then SNX on the 4-hour time frame has a TBT bullish divergence cluster. It's also super duper close to retracing back to the TBO daily fast line. Sorry, the TBO support on the daily time frame down here at 50 cents. Last time it was here, it shot up 400% out of nowhere. So it's retracing all the way back down. Yep. Now Stark, this one regrettably printed a TBO close long back over here on Saturday, dropping 30%. It hasn't touched the fast line yet to close that close long. So we're waiting for the price to shoot up to at least 16.55 or so. I'm still DCAing and still trading this chart to get to a break-even point. Volume did fall below the moving average yesterday, which is too bad. But I'm not giving up hope just yet on this chart. It is back in bearish consolidation, though. Now, some must-watch charts. Cardano, believe it or not. The reason why this is here is mainly because of what's happening with BTC, right? We're getting these little bull traps and it goes up. You can see Cardano doing a similar thing over there to like XRP, going up to the fast line and then getting rejected, going up to the fast line and getting rejected. So if we get more bullish continuation, we would want to be looking to short Cardano if it gets close to the fast line, which is at about 48 cents, and then we can short it back down if that's what you're in the mood for. Kronos is still looking good after slightly testing this second support fan, which is great. It needs to break above the bullish, the bearish downtrend. It's not bullish at all, just seeing these lower highs. But keep in mind, this has happened many times before. The first pump that happens is a good sign, but we don't have to chase the first pump, as we can see back over here in March, pumped up and it went right back down. did it again, went right back down, and finally it shot up 400%. So keep it in mind. Caspa, yeah, I know. So this is, again, one of these setups where we have a confirmed macro bearish chart on the daily time frame, meaning that the macro trend is down. The price has gone against the trend, pumping up 13% in a day. The last several times this happened, Caspa did not exceed the fast line, which is the thick pink line, even back over here. These were all really good entries for shorting. You can consider. I'm not telling you what to do, but you can consider it. SPX had another interesting move on Sunday and then yesterday at 15%. It did not exceed the high set over here on Thursday last week, but it's pretty amazing, to be honest. And I'm also watching RSI putting in a higher low, which is a great sign. We could actually see a comeback here, albeit minor for SPX, but it's still not there yet. But it is showing some bullish signs of growth. At least it's not putting in a lower low. It's not putting in a higher high yet, but this is interesting. 2Z, this is one that pumped last Friday all the way up here 100% to 23 cents, and it's fully retraced back down. Again, these are the kind of charts that I share on purpose because those of you that have taken this course, you know exactly what to look for, okay? It's almost fallen down to support. Support is at about 11 cents right here. Don't be surprised if this one just pops again out of nowhere. Bananas 31, similar story. Get a huge pump out of nowhere and it retraces almost all the way back down and then it just goes right back up again. L3, crazy price. I missed it. I was going to, that's okay, whatever. When we see charts that pump irrationally 143%, you can consider shorting charts like these that are just massively, massively overbought. 123% on the daily close. Okay, so it's just pump and dump city right now. That's okay. It's just crazy. Yes, it has a TBO close short, but that's on a crazy manipulative pump. What is the macro trend on this chart? Down. I didn't think I'd be talking about this coin either. ACT. Yes, high risk, no kidding. ACT has been in an insane downtrend. And we saw some tests of it back over here in September, and it got lost. Test here, October, and it lost it. It pumped on the 9th of November. It actually wicked above, pierce, and it actually just closed. I'm not touching this chart because it's just an AI meme coin, extremely high risk, but it is interesting what it's doing right now. And you'll see that volume is starting to slowly pick up. On balance volume is actually looking bullish. RSI is growing as well, but it's very high risk. So on to your requests. Monad, I heard that it launched recently. You can see the volume that's coming in on this day. Yesterday, Monday. This is just a perpetual futures chart. So we saw a pretty nasty wick down 40%. People are wondering, is this a good buy? I personally would wait until the dust settles, but that's a pretty nasty candle where people are taking some profit and a lot of stuff's happening with the distribution of the token itself. Pay AI, never heard of this before. One thing that's interesting about it though is, again, nice pump over here, 240%. And these are the kind of clusters that are actually really, really, really good. TBO close shorts, it's a huge group of them, 3 of them in a cluster. One has yet to be confirmed on this 4-hour time frame. Resistance up here at about 0.018. Monero XMR back above the cloud. Now the daily slow line, it is. Okay, it is curling up, which is a good sign. So this is strong. Well, not strong, but it's macro bullish. And when the price is above the cloud, this is technically strong bullish. So the next dip that we get, we should be using a buy the dip strategy for this if you're interested in it. Pi, this one had some really interesting TBO close shorts. After that, it rallied 17%. Now we're getting a close long. It might dip back down here to support at 21 cents, but it has a pretty decent range so far. Nothing really amazing happening on the daily time frame. Last but not least, Aptos. It's just a strong bearish chart. It's really frustrating for me as well because this is one I was so excited about and got rugged massively. TBO breakdowns on the daily. The third one is on Friday. While we might get an RSI reset, we've already seen this happen before and it goes lower. So again, this is why I'm more in favor of looking to short any time the price goes up here to the fast line. Yep. That's all murder she wrote, as the show went. So while it feels good to see BTC going up 2 days in a row, which is nice, any push up here to the fast line, I think it's smarter to take a more conservative approach. We might see it continue pushing up today. And if the fact that Ethereum's outperforming Bitcoin is amazing, and if Ethereum goes up higher, it will attract alts to go up higher as well, which is a good sign. But just keep track of the macro trend, which is very bearish right now, until proven otherwise, okay? So I want you to watch this video that I posted about TradingView's cool invert feature for shorting to give you some confidence, especially if you have a bullish bias. Why are you pointing at me? So watch this video next, and until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.